Hello friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go through a massive retro or refitting of every light fixture in the fish room. And I thank my friends at the Aquarium Co-Op for sending me out a whole bunch of lights. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the aquarium with the light it has on it now. And then I'm going to go ahead and swap out for an Aquarium Co-Op light, and you can compare and tell me in the comments below if you think it looks better or worse than before. All right, so let's go ahead and swap out every light in the fish room. All right, I'm exhausted, but I got it done. You can see here the wreckage. This is a major recycling project right here. So I'll get on that in a minute. And let's take a look at the tanks. And I also have quite a bit of, look at this. It's like a light graveyard. 48s, 30s, Hygers, JC&Ps, Aquas, All Best Lights, Beamsworks. These are good quality lights. There's nothing wrong with them. But when somebody offers to redo your fish room, redo all the lights in your fish room, when you consider that each light has a certain lifespan to it, at that point, yeah, why not? Some of those lights were 4 years old, 5 years old, maybe at the very end of their life. So, hey, let's show you how they look in comparison to what they looked like before. Here's the Green Terror aquarium, and I have the light on at 30%. My Red Terror is living alone. Well, there's a little black pleco in there, but he's living relatively alone in this 55-gallon, which is being lit by a Beamsworks light that I've been running for several years. It's been rock solid. Does a good job, thoroughly lights the tank, and we'll see what this tank looks like with the Aquarium Co-Op light. Doing a pretty good job. Here's the planted tank. This 55-gallon planted aquarium is already being lit by a Aquarium Co-Op light there on the top. And as you can see, it's doing quite a job at keeping the plants alive and healthy, including this hornwort, which is taking over everything. But you can see, so it certainly is providing the light requirements for a planted tank, that's for sure. But this one is already an Aquarium Co-Op lit tank, so no need for a before and after with this tank. But I did adjust it so it's also at 30%. Here's the 90-gallon, and the 90-gallon is a very unusual tank. It's got very odd dimensions. So my choices on this tank are either to have the light hanging over on the top, where it's too wide for the tank, or I have to have it a little short. In this case, I went a little short on the light, and it is lit by an Aqua light, which is the sort of high-end Hyger light system. And I just love the way it lights the tank. Just enough brightness to capture the colors of the fish without washing them out. I can set the light to be brighter, but I love it at this setting. And we'll see how the Aquarium Co-Op light does. I can control that light with various settings, from 10% on up in increments. And I'm running it at about 40%, but I like it. I like the job it's doing. I can make it a heck of a lot brighter to the point where I wash out the tank. I mean, these are very powerful lights. I just don't need that. Here's the planted live bear tank. This 20-gallon rimless tank is being lit by a Hyger LED. And as you can see, it's doing a good job of lighting and seems to be providing what the plants need. If looking at these, at the hornwort and the sprite is any indication, seems to be thriving. Let's see how this tank looks after I swap out the light for an Aquarium Co-Op light. You see the nice thin profile there. And again, this one is this one's at 40%. Just to give you an idea how bright this thing can get. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So it can get really, really bright. That's 40, and that's probably enough right there, 40%. That means I'm running 40% of the estimated wattage, which is pretty good. Here's the betta tank, also running at 30%. And again, I hope that's enough to keep the plants alive, but of course these down here, this is a low light plant. The Anubias. Java fern might need a little more light. Betta looks great. We've got a little bit of the hornwort and some water sprite up there. Hopefully that'll be enough light. This is, again, this is 30. Let's go to 40. That's 40%. That's maybe that might be a little better. That's 40%. Interestingly enough, I'm running the 300 gallon at 20%, but it has 348s on top. So you have 3 good size light strips, but at 20%, this is the 300 gallon African cichlid tank, and it has a couple aqua, which is a type of Hygger light, has a couple of those in the back, and in the front is a app controlled, a best fish light, which I control off of an app. And as you can see, the lighting is pretty good. And in all fairness, the best light does have a large number of options that you can choose, whether it be bright sunlight, moonlight, dusk and dawn, and a variety of other settings. It is a very good light. I've been happy with it. But let's see what this tank looks like with the LEDs from the Aquarium Co-Op. Look at the light coverage I'm getting. To me, that looks very, very natural. There's no hot spots, no glare. I like it. Nobody's washed out. This is the 210 gallon South and Central American tank, and it is currently being lit by 3 LED light strips. One of them is a JCNP, and 2 of them are Hygger LEDs. And as you can see, it is pretty well lit throughout with 3 units. This is running has 2 strips, 2 48s, so it's 60 inches across. So I'm 6 inches short on the sides. So I've got a little bit of a dim area on the outsides, but I'm only running it at 40%. I could run it a lot brighter, I'll show you. If we go back here. Actually, I'm running at it. Can you read that? 30%. Let's go up to 40, 50, 60. And let's go to 60 on both of them. You can see the difference. A lot brighter. Because of the brown wood and the reflection of the substrate, it takes on a little bit of a yellow tinge. Almost looks a little bit like tannins. but overall I'm liking it. So this is a very nice upgrade to the room. The slim profile of the lights really looks good, especially now that it's uniform across every tank. What I really love about these lights, a couple things I really love about them. One, they're hardwired. See that? They're hardwired. This is not a jack that goes into here like the beams work that I had was a jack that goes in that over time could actually corrode if it were to get wet, or let's say if you were storing it inside of a canopy, it could get wet. What I like about this is the second you pull it out of the box, it just feels really good. It has a lot of weight and a solid build to it. Like when you pick up a real cheap watch or an expensive watch, you can tell just by holding it that it's good quality or that it's just a cheap knockoff. So it's got just a great build, a solid build and a solid feel to it. Good quality, heavy gauge wiring, very long wiring, which I like a lot. And look at this, it's more wire than I would ever need. I think it's like 11 feet or more of wire. And I do love the fact that they've changed it so that you do get percentages, where before it was just on or off, and you could work it up and work it down to where you liked it, but you didn't have a number to go with it. Now we have a number gauge. I also like the fact that the area that connects what connects the plug-in to the light, this area here, is a nice solid sealed connection. You see that? You don't see any metal in there. It is nice and watertight. Water would have to you'd have to immerse it to get it wet. Now, what don't I like? The only thing I would say that I don't like about these lights, and Corey, I got to keep it real, my friend, is this big bulky plug-in. Because I use timers, I had to get real creative with an extension cord and then multiple outlets from that, using several cords. Basically, hopefully I'm not creating a fire hazard, but where there are other lights that will create a block, a little bit like a power brick like you have with a computer, and then you have a simple straight plug that you plug in, and it takes up very little room. So on a strip, you can just put them all in. On a strip, the way it's set up, it will block. If you have a 3-prong plug next, you're not gonna be able to use it. This is gonna take up too much space. It's too wide. So I had to get pretty creative on the plugins. Overall, I love this light. I would highly recommend it. I love what it's done to this tank. It really gives it this sort of natural sunlight look, which without a lot of yellow or too much blue. The 210, it does have a little bit of a tannin color, but I don't mind that. I've got that wood, I've got that tan substrate, I've got beige rocks in there. So yeah, I get it. The other aquariums, including the 90, the Live Bear tank, the Betta tank, are rocking it. So there you go. I'll put a link down below if you want to take a look at these lights. Now I just got to recycle a whole bunch of cardboard and styrofoam, and I think I might take these, I don't know what, 15 lights that I took off the tanks. Maybe I'll take it to the Music City meeting next month and maybe just auction them off. And for anyone who needs lights, they all work. They're all great lights. And this is not a knock in any way on JC&P, on Higer, on Aqua, on All Best Light, on Beamswork. They're all good lights. But it was time. It was time for a retrofit. It was time to have uniform lights. And a big shout out to Corey, Zenzo, and the gang at the Aquarium Co-Op. Aquarium Co-op, we're coming through. This is Murphy. Thank you, Murphy. And that's it for me. Hope to see you on Saturday for the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. That's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And if you like the channel, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell. And if you want to take it one step further, consider becoming a member of the Garage Gang, a Patreon monthly supporter. Details are under the video. Starts for as little as $3 a month, and it helps more than you know. Thank you, my friends. You're the best. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.